What's going on, guys? Welcome back to the channel. This is your boy StereoRifles tuning in on the microphone. And if you're new to the channel, smack that like button down below and subscribe so I can get up in y'all's sub boxes, man. This is going to be C.O.D Logic, Episode 9. This is a series I came up with a while back, and it is what it is. C.O.D Logic, whether it be time to kill, the meta of a certain Call of Duty, just, we're, kind of breaking down and being subjective on the way the game actually plays currently, or previous titles, or in future titles. And it's just kind of some food for thought on the channel, man. That's kind of what I do, man. Now let's get into it. This episode today is going to be basically on the balance of previous Call of Duties, current Call of Duties, and in the future, man. It kind of got me thinking, the creative juices kind of got flowing, And I think back to certain titles and what made them good, what made them bad, what makes Modern Warfare trash as it is. It's obviously an assortment of things, but the first thing I want to start off is, let's just rewind back. Let's go back to Modern Warfare, COD 4, excuse me. And then go forward from there and just kind of see what made the game right, what made it wrong. And first off, in my mind, is map size. And mostly 3-lane style maps. Not all of them. Obviously, Infinity Ward's maps have never always been completely like Treyarch's with their map design. But I feel like the game's sprint speed was slower, right? Like in Modern Warfare 2019. But the maps kind of balanced that out. And also, you didn't have unlimited sprint. Correct me if I'm wrong. I cannot remember in COD 4 if they had the marathon perk. Like, I know like Black Ops had it and all that. But yes, the sprint speeds were slower, but so the maps were smaller as well. That's one thing first off. Two, I don't know. I feel like the time to kill back then was a little faster than what people are used to now. Even though I prefer that. But I feel like back then, I don't know, maybe because the game was still such a newer thing, a newer title, right? Back then, 2007, 2008. It didn't really bother people as much, and people back then were just more casual. It wasn't so much more like everybody's a Twitch streamer, everybody's, a YouTuber, or, watching YouTube channels and trying to get better and all that. It was just more of a game back then, and so I don't really think time to kill at the time was a problem, you know what I mean? There's limited score streaks, I think, again, that all comes back to the game being new, and we didn't really know anything yet as far as like getting more streaks in the game, as we progress. I think I was watching Mark J today. I was going through some old school videos of Black Ops 2 and just thinking, not only how good the streaks were, but two, how many were. I have to go back and look at how many score streaks there were in Black Ops 2. It was a lot, dude. But I was watching him one gameplay. It was like domination on Black Ops 2. I think it was Nuketown. He had a drone squad. I forgot what it's called. I think it's called an escort drone in Black Ops 2. And he got like 10 kills with it, bro. Tell me in any Call of Duty, like Black Ops 3 and on, where you get 10 kills with a drone squad, bro. Like, God, they nerfed the streaks over the years. I mean, I know that the sniper's nest still goes in, in Black Ops 4, the attack chopper, etc., etc. But a drone squad getting 10 kills? That's insane, dude. But anyway, moving on. As we progress through the Call of Duties, over the years, I feel like, Black Ops 1, still a similar situation. Modern Warfare 3, like a faster time to kill. I believe I watched exclusive Ace's video a while ago. He covered every time to kill from every Call of Duty, like up into the future. Great video, man. You need to check that out. But they're pretty much all about the same. Ghosts actually had the fastest core gameplay time to kill ever out of all of them. But they all more or less feel, about the same back then. So that didn't really change. Obviously, things like death streaks got added. Things to help out the noobs, and that's one thing I do want to touch on real quick is how society has influenced Call of Duty on how the whole participation medal, and like we go with the Black Ops 4 with the specialist cheese and all that. It's just it didn't have all that back then. At least not as bad as it is now. But, so, yeah, we progressed through the titles, and the time to kill is more or less about the same. The streaks are about the same, and the same with the maps. And that's why I think we favor these titles so much. All I hear on Twitter, the internet, is remaster Modern Warfare 2, remaster Black Ops, remaster Modern Warfare 3 even, Black Ops 2, etc., etc. And all them games had the same things in common. They all had medium the small maps. I know they had a few big ones, which is fine for variety. You know, you had a lot of 3-lane maps mixed in, faster time to kill, dead silence as a perk. I can't stress that one enough. And it worked, man, you know, and I know there's always the haters out there that say Call of Duty's the same thing every year. I'm like, well, yeah, that's why we like it. You know, we like the game. And between, you know, changing up the time to kills, the maps, just the overall theme, every Call of Duty is a little different. Just to be able to jump on a game again that you haven't jumped on in years, you got to kind of relearn the maps again, you know, the sprint out times of your favorite gun. You know what I mean? Every Call of Duty, it's like a fine wine. You know, they all age different. They're all got their own little bouquet of the way it was designed. If you're a real COD player, you cannot come out and tell me that every COD is the same, because they are not. Especially if they screwed up on the code. Like I've heard from numerous OG players that Modern Warfare 3 had really bad lag compensation for it. You know, as an example. You know what I mean? There's always certain things about a Call of Duty every year that makes it, you know, what it is. But there's that formula that they got right for Black Ops 2, Modern Warfare 2, COD 4, Modern Warfare 3, that we like. And we're constantly praising, going back in the day and reminiscing about how great they were. And these things are what made it great. And for some reason, you know, these days, the developers just seem to forget that. I mean, I don't know if it's because they're just trying to massage their own ego and, you know, come up with something just to get their own creative juices flowing. But it's like, bro, don't tell me, you know, I know it's your game. I know it's your artwork almost, you know. So, and you want to create something new. You've been creating the same thing for 10 years, 10 plus years. I get that. But at the same time, we pay for this game. We pay our $60 plus DLC, plus all, if there's a battle pass, on and on and on, microtransactions, billions of dollars. It's insane. So it's like, our voice should matter, you know? But anyway, I digress. As we move forward in the games, obviously, you know, they thought they spotted a trend with, I believe it was Respawn's title. What was it? Titanfall? You know, with the advanced movement, which, again, personally, it's not something I need 100% of the time, you know, but I honestly enjoyed the advanced movement games because it was something fresh. It did give a fun factor to the game, but granted, you get in a lobby full of, like, sweaty EXO Movement COD players, man, that's a rough game, bro. For the guys, you know, you are out there that like got 3, 4 KD or whatever, or even higher, and can really utilize EXO Movement. God damn, man, the noobs will get smacked. You know, that's one thing I will give to the developers for using that mechanic in their games for the few years that they did. You know, honestly, at least in my personal opinion, I believe that favored to the pub stomper or to the better player. If you could utilize that EXO Movement against a Timmy, especially he's sitting in the corner or something, you just boost jump on his ass or whatever. You know what I mean? You know, G-slide on him and just take him out. That is definitely one tool in the bag I kind of miss having, man. It was nice. It was definitely an advantage. I know a lot of people didn't care for the EXO Movement, but you got to give the game developers that, man, because noobs were not coming in and mastering that mechanic. So yeah, it was kind of a gimmick at the time. The maps were still generally basically the same. The time to kill did start to get higher. Quick little story. I remember because my first full year of Call of Duty was Ghost. I say this all the time. Fastest time to kill in core gameplay ever, right? And my second COD obviously was Advanced Warfare. It's the first time they really upped the time to kill. I go back to it now and watch. I'm like, it wasn't even that bad, right? But I was so accustomed to Ghost's fast time to kill. And I go into Advanced Warfare, I'm like, bro, this is what's with the time to kill, dude? You know what I mean? Like, it takes 1,000,000 bullets to kill him, you know? Like, me, like, back then, you know, as a Ghost player, like, my first year, if you would have put me on Black Ops 4, I'd be like, holy shit, like, I can't do this, bro. Like, now I'm not, it doesn't even bother me, but it goes to show what you can get used to. So, we're up to Black Ops 3 now, like I said, Infinite Warfare. The maps were, I know that the maps actually, I think, did get bigger for them games, but the sprint speed got picked up. You know, marathon was pretty much the norm, and obviously the EXO Movement made you traverse the map a lot faster. So they could kind of get away with bigger maps, obviously, but granted, like even Black Ops 3, a lot of the maps weren't even that big. So we're moving on. What's next? I mean, World War II, I think this is kind of where they're just running out of steam, dude. You know, and they're going on that nostalgia kick, you know, hence World War II, Modern Warfare 2019. And this is where they just kind of, I feel like they lost their way, man. You know, like I said, let's go back to what I was saying. Smaller maps, medium to a slower sprint rate, but the maps balance that out. Faster time to kill. You know, the streaks did it, you know, did their work, and it was just a good, solid formula. And now we have huge maps, no dead silence, no traditional dead silence. Their footstep audio is way off the chain, even though they've tweaked it so many times. I'll still never understand that. I can go back to any other Call of Duty, I feel. Any Black Ops title, Infinite Warfare, you know what I mean? World War II, none of them. You do not necessarily need a ninja or a dead silence perk to play that game. Any of them. Some are worse than others, especially Ghosts. You could sound horn Ghosts, but you could still play the game and not necessarily need it. And I just feel like they lost their way, man. They just totally have it. Like, they just broke it off the form. I mean, they screw up the mini-map, as you know. The maps are just the wonkiest, weirdest maps. And if I wanted to, you know, play a mill sim, get a squad of 6 dudes, if I wanted to play Call of Duty Modern Warfare 2019 as I think they intended it, like it was almost like a mill sim or something, I would just literally have the 6 of us just squad up, start from our spawn, stick together, and just roll like out on the outskirts of the map. Literally like a squad would, like a SWAT team would, and just constantly communicate. And I'll tell you what, it would be super tactical, super boring, and quite frustrating for the other team. I mean, if you actually played like that. Like, that's the way, I mean, you really want me to go to, like, super realistic? We could do that. But that's not why we play Call of Duty, bro. You know what I'm saying, bro? Like, it's not why we play COD. I want to go play Milsim. I'll go play a Milsim, dude. So where we're at, map's getting too big. Footsteps, again, what were they thinking with the whole footstep thing? I'll never know. Even in the contextual lean, like in Ghost, wasn't bad because it was just a, you know, a contextual lean. But now you get like what? If I had to guess, a 30% reduction in recoil. Like, I like how you can magically mount a gun on a wall and you have no recoil on your gun now. As a guy who's shot in guns in real life plenty of times, that's not how it works. So for them going for the hyper realism BS, that one they kind of screwed up. It is what it is, man. I just, in the future, it's like, I wish they could just go back to these games. Like, we were so pressed on Modern Warfare 2019 being such a hit. Like, they're going to go back to the old school formula, and at least for that year, and, like, give us what we've been asking for all this time. And they just totally botched it up. It's like, guys, have you ever, do you remember how you used to design these other games, you know? In the end, it seems like, and one thing I do want to touch on before I finish this commentary, also, I almost forgot to talk about it. I feel like there's a camp to rush ratio, and this obviously comes from all these different things. The size of the map design, and the time to kill is 3 core things in my personal opinion. And in a way, they kind of did right with Black Ops 4 with that. I think the reason why, other than the sprint speed and the traditional 3-lane map design, the reason why Black Ops 4 plays so fast is because the time to kill is so high. It gives you a sense of fearlessness. Not like me. I'm just saying, but if you're a newer player, you're not just going to get insta-melted like Modern Warfare 2019. I feel like the higher the time to kill, the more aggressive the gameplay is going to be. And I think maybe that's why they started doing that in the first place. You know, the EXO movement, the higher time to kill, just kind of changed the pace of the game a little bit. And Modern Warfare 2019, they went the complete opposite. And the problem is, with the meta, you sped up the time to kill, people are scared to move. I mean, I go back, it's weird though, because if you go back and play like COD Ghost with the fastest time to kill in core multiplayer ever, I could still rush in that game. But map design was still a little different. You had dead silence, you had a couple of other core key things that they don't have in this game. It's like, there's definitely a formula there. You see a trend on what made these games good. And they just totally threw that out the window. I'll never understand it. Honestly, I'm hoping for, if it's Black Ops 5, whatever it may be, I'm hoping that the time to kill isn't too fast. Not for my sake. Again, I love the fast time to kill. But for the community's sake, for just the fun factor, I hope it's like Black Ops 2 to Black Ops 3. Somewhere in there. Not too fast, but not 150 health necessarily. But it obviously goes to show you how it controls the meta of the game on how they decide to design the game year after year. And there's a formula there. Smaller maps, smaller to medium maps to go with slow footsteps, or if you speed up the footsteps, make the maps a little bigger. A slower time to kill is going to give you a faster gameplay. You know what I mean? The faster time to kill is going to slow the game down. Obviously, footstep audio is an issue. It's like, why can't they just put this stuff on a list and look at it? I mean, I'm just a, you know what I mean, a game fan. Like, I'm not a designer, and I can figure this out. Why can't they figure this out? But that's pretty much going to wrap it up, guys. Just a little food for thought, like I've said. If you enjoyed the commentary, man, I appreciate you. Smack the like button for me down below. Subscribe. And I'll just see you on the next one. Take it easy.